In my everyday life, as you heard, I'm a yoga teacher. And one of the things I like to do in the beginning of class is I like to read a passage or share a poem or a quote that's really touched me, that's really made an impact on my life and helped me live in a deeper, fuller way. And so that's what I'd like to do with all of you today. And I'm going to be sharing with you a speech, part of a speech, given by the elders in Orbi, Arizona, to the Hopi Nation. Which is entitled, "We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For." But before I do that, I would like to guide you through a very short centering, about 2 minutes. So I invite you here to close your eyes for just a moment, concealing the very sacred outer world, and begin to attune inward to your own sacred inner world. Can sense and feel your feet against the earth, your hips against a chair, and just notice how the earth is effortlessly supporting you right now. And begin to open to the movement of your breath, to the natural, effortless movement of your breath. You may sense and feel your breath against the front of your torso. And see if you can also sense and feel your breath against the back side of your torso. So you're sensing front and back together. Pause there and begin to open up to the movement of your breath to the left and to the right. Out into the sides of your rib cage. And finally, notice your foundation against the chair. And feel your breath move from down in your pelvis up towards your head, or down from the earth up towards the sky. And for the last 2 breaths, please open up to your breath in all directions. Front, back, left, right, above and below. And you're there in the center of your experience. You can allow your eyes to slowly open. And please open to these words. You've been telling the people that this is the 11th hour. And now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour. And there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? And are you in right relation? Where is your water? Know your garden. It's time to speak your truth. Create your community. Be good to each other. And do not look outside yourself for the leader. And do not look outside yourself for the leader. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. For we are the ones we've been waiting for. So pretty potent and powerful first lines. You've been telling the people that this is the 11th hour. Now go back and tell the people this is the hour. So right now on our planet we face great challenges. environmentally, economically, in education, really in all areas of life. And the potency of our challenges are pushing us in some way towards stepping forward and acting. And I'd like to suggest that in some way, the challenges that we're facing right now at the 11th hour are also pulling us. They're also inviting us in some way to step forward, to start to live our personal visions into the world, that which really matters to us. I remember being in Kennedy Elementary School in a small suburb outside Detroit back in 1970. As an elementary school, sitting on the gymnasium floor, and they were showing us a movie. It was the very first Earth Day, and it was a movie about the pollution in the Great Lakes and the pollution in the rivers. And I remember feeling so overwhelmed, so overtaken by that. And my thought was, why isn't someone else doing something about this? And at the time, I just felt helpless, and I kind of compartmentalized that over to the side, because I didn't want to feel the discomfort, and went on with the rest of my day. But of course, as things got worse, I was invoked from inside. My heart began to break open to the challenges of the world, and I began to feel a natural impulse to do my part. Let it be me. Even though I do something small, teach yoga, own a yoga studio, it feels important that I'm stepping forward and letting it be me. So there are things to be considered at this point in time. Where are you living and what are you doing? At the time I heard this speech, I was already teaching yoga. I already had a very fulfilling career. But I began to examine more deeply what I was doing, and I felt satisfied that I was helping people gain greater health, physical health, mental clarity, connection to spirit. But I also felt a deep inner call to help people take their yoga off their yoga mat and out into their everyday life. So yoga means to connect. It's all about relationship. So I would help my students examine what are your relationships. And of course we have a multitude of different levels of relationship. There's the relationship we have to ourselves, the food that we eat, practices that we have. There's our relationship with other people, our friends, our family, our coworkers. And there's also the relationship that we all have with our, you could say, the more than human world, the larger world, the earth itself. So as we approached the threshold of 2012 and 2013, I began to wonder about the Mayan calendar, where they said that 2012 was going to be the end. And so I went to Peru. I traveled to Peru, and I met with the shamans, the Quero, who had been holding an unbroken tradition for over 25,000 years. And I asked them, what does this time mean? And what they told me changed my life. They said that this is a time of coming into right relationship, moving beyond the old paradigms of domination and subjugation and control of ourselves, of other people, and of our earth, It's a time of moving into caring, tending, honoring, or what they call AYNI, A-Y-N-I, right relationship. So I began to examine my life and to make changes. And the way I was treating myself, made amends in those relationships where that felt appropriate. And also began to examine my relationship with the larger world. And one of the things I looked at is where is my water? So there are many metaphors for water. And when I heard this, where is your water? For me it was, where is my nourishment? What nourishes my soul? What allows me to feel filled up enough inside that I can much more easily give my gifts to the world and be who I am? And for me, my water was my yoga practice. My water was being out in nature, reading, my good friends and my family. And I just made sure that I had enough of that nourishment to help lead me forward. Know your garden. A garden is intentionally planted, and the seeds are watered. And for me, the metaphor was, what am I growing through my life? Through the projects I'm doing, through the teaching I'm doing, with my friends, with my family. And it wasn't just to know my garden, but it was to really look out and reflect on the garden I had grown in my life, and allow that beauty to be reflected back to me. So I could see it, so I could feel it, so I could be inspired by it. Because a garden isn't just to work in, it's to receive and appreciate that which is grown. It's time to speak your truth. Sometimes the truth that we speak is the truth that we speak to another person. Sometimes, like standing before you today, it's speaking my small truth out to a group of people. And sometimes speaking our truth is speaking a truth to ourselves. Sometimes a truth we didn't know we knew. Create your community. So this has been a big part of expanding beyond the yoga mat. I've invited people from the community, from the yoga classes, into small circles. And we call these small circles the yoga of awakening. And in these small circles, people come together to share not what yoga poses they're doing, but what's happening in their everyday life. The challenges that they face, the heartache that they face, the joys and the triumphs, the totality of their experience. And in the context of this group, they're heard, they're seen, and they're felt. So they're not fixing or changing, but they're just really listening and receiving each other. And like a garden that just grows naturally and beautifully with water and with sunlight, people have come forth powerfully to stand more fully in their truth, their authenticity, to reveal their vulnerability, to discover more of who they really are. And do not look outside yourself for the leader. One of the beautiful things that's happened from these small groups where no one's trying to fix each other or change each other or set each other straight is that everybody begins to discover their own authenticity, the author inside them of their own life. And perhaps even more powerfully begins to trust that deep voice, that deep inner impulse, the way in which the universe moves uniquely in each of us. All that we do now must be done in a manner, a sacred manner, and in celebration. For we are the ones we've been waiting for. After 13.7 billion years, the universe, our universe, has evolved to become billions of galaxies with trillions of stars, planets including our Earth, all the various life forms we find here on our planet. In the words of Brian Swim, it's evolved to become palm trees, pelicans, the music of Bach. And after 13.7 billion years, the universe has evolved to become you and to become me. So I invite everyone to trust the impulses you feel to move forward into the world, to give your gifts and talents. Because we are the ones we've been waiting for. Thank you very much.